And this is where we record the podcast.
I sit here, Chase sits here, and David sits way over there.
Okay, great, but can we go to dinner soon? You didn't say we were making stop.
Sure, we can go soon. How about we go right now?
It's just that I skipped lunch and...
Now! Where the hell is David?
He said he'd be here.
Oh, I'm here. Sorry I'm late. Hey, Kris.
Hey, David. Hey, here's a question. Why are you holding a large net?
Oh, when Chase says, now, I'm supposed to... Never mind.
Were you guys going to kidnap me with a net and force me to do your podcast?
Yes.
Guys, I'll do the podcast. All you had to do was ask.
Hooray!
David, no.
Too late with the net.
You know what time it is. It's the Jank-Ass podcast.
It's so jank. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Jank-Ass podcast. I'm Stacy, and this is Chase.
Damn it, Chase.
Hello.
And David.
Hey.
And our very special guest, Kris Wilson of Cyanide and Happiness.
Hello, thanks for having me. Thank you so much. I haven't been called special since grade school. Appreciate it.
You're very special.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I love the burp because it's always nice when you're wearing headphones and you can hear the inside of someone's innards flapping and in such clarity.
Good job, Chase.
That's what we got this new mic for.
He
Really.
put his mouth on the microphone.
I know he did. I felt it. We're here. This is what, episode 3, right? Yeah, episode 3. Hooray! Huge thanks again for everybody listening. Thanks for hanging in there. And we've actually gained some folks since the last one, so thank you. And anybody who's just scrolling back through these, who is subscribing like way down the line from when we released it, thank you too.
Thank you, future people. This is what the audience wants. They want to hear the gulps of the drinks you're drinking, and then the laughing. And the burping.
And the burps.
And
Don't
the
forget
burps. Don't forget the burps. That's why people are coming back. That's why $50.
Right off the top.
Right.
You want to start with the burps.
And he ate an entire sub through the whole recording.
All right, I'll put it away. New topic.
Meeting little Kris Wilson.
So here's a topic I have written down at the top of the list here. And we have a list. It's a short list, but...
All right. Yeah, this is getting professional.
Top of the list, intro. Second, Chase burp. What's the third, Chase?
Another Chase burp.
Yeah, it's a show note. Yeah, belch for introduction.
Everyone reacts to the belch.
Belch intermission.
Oh,
now it's the part where we talk about me.
yeah. All your show notes are like just reading into our futures, and yeah, we're that predictable. This is the point where Kris talks about how predictable you guys are.
We should talk about how we know Kris.
Hey, guys. Yeah,
Hey.
I've known you guys for a real long time. Since I was but a wee Wilson.
Wee baby Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I was like, yay, hi. You guys took me in as a baby, and you raised me to be a slightly larger baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pre-Cyanide and Happiness, wasn't it? You posted those.
Yeah.
Your first Kamikaze comics on the TN forum.
Yeah, I was one of those dudes that was watching all your stuff on Newgrounds and on the forums and had the DVD where you guys go through the toy store.
Oh, man, that's some old shit.
Oh, yeah.
See, yeah, I knew you, like, were familiar with the older stuff. I didn't realize, like, you were that deep in it, like, had the DVD and all that, too. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and managed to hop on the Tomorrow's Nobody forums, make a few friends, make a lot of enemies, and...
Yeah, these were the pre-Chase days, or the good years, however you like to call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when you used to be good, I remember.
Yeah, I came onto the forums around the time when Chase was first brought on board, and I think it was a few months, like maybe 4 or 5 months before you guys did the episode with like the space helmets and plastic bags and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
So that was a while ago. Yeah.
oh yeah, I've met a few people from the Tomorrow's Nobody forums like since then. Both that like people will pop up at conventions and stuff, and
that's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh, the Tomorrow's Nobody forum is how I met Chase too, and
Right.
I'm like still best friends with some of the people I've met on there. It's a crazy thing.
You know what's funny? I think Chase and I probably talked on that forum before we even spoke face to face.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Because I feel like
you went to high school together.
Well, he was a year before me. We didn't have any classes together, and I feel like Eric was talking about him for months and was just like, "Yeah, we got this Chase dude," and I'm like, "Whatever," because I never saw him. And I was like, "Yeah, we got this dude, sure." And it's like he's in the forums, and then one day he's at Eric's place. I'm like, "Oh, I guess we got this Chase dude."
I was just a quiet work guy for a long time, and Too Cool David would come in and be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm a celebrity to you."
Yeah.
Moonwalks out of the room.
I had a carton of cigarettes, and I gave him a pack once, and then he was bonded to me for life.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
That's like prison rules.
That's all it takes. Yeah, I was his bitch.
From celebrity to bitch, that fast, man.
So quick.
He took it and he fell down on one knee, and he was like, "I will never forget this day. What you have done for me,
I accept." I didn't know that Chase went to the same high school as all of you.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you get found? Like, how did the Chase guy in the wild get found and then become like, hey, we have this Chase guy in the dungeon?
I would draw in class a lot, and I sat next to Eric in physics class.
Yeah.
And he saw that I could be useful.
He swooped in like a condor.
I mean, that's pretty much how it happened.
Because you said you're always making your comics in class, and you're making Chase comics.
Yeah, when I was still like getting to know him, and he was like, "You can draw for us for Tomorrow's Nobody." And I was like, "Well, cool. I mean, I kind of want to do that, but
yeah, you had like
I'm
the worst. Sorry, please continue.
No, go ahead.
You can talk over, Chase. It's okay.
Yeah, Chase, shut up. I want to talk about how you had like 100 of those Chase comics.
I did. I drew those every day in class instead of passing calculus.
Well, I mean, no,
I don't
know
when
anybody.
the fuck are you going to use calculus? Yeah.
Exactly. Not to make Chase comics, obviously.
Yeah, I tried real hard the first semester and got like a C+, and then second semester I had like a 0.3%.
Ooh,
nice. Hell yeah. I failed art class in high school, and that's how I'm here.
You failed art class?
I did. Oh, man. Oh, I want to dig into this teacher.
New topic.
Kris's art teacher.
Did
you punch the teacher? How do you fail art class?
No way. The teacher, she was like maybe 6'4", and I am, I pound my chest and drink drinks that don't taste good, but I'm not a very physically intimidating guy. And there's no way I could take her. She was like an offensive lineman. And she, very big woman.
6'4" is big for anybody, but yeah, seeing a lady over like 6 foot, it's intimidating.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I failed with like a 52%, and all of that 52% was extra credit because she kept trying to make us draw these fucking pine cones. All right, we had to pick this pine cone out of a box, put it on a fucking table, and draw it. And wow, what fun. Drew a pine cone, and then, okay, put tape on it, write your name on it, and then 2 weeks later, we had to draw the same pine cone again. And
that kind of stuff would drive me crazy.
Yeah, well, as an art teacher, she was one of those artists that just, like, looked at something and depicted it onto something, but she, hated me. Oh, man, hated me. I would do this really asshole-ish thing where that she overheard a few times, where I'd just go on and on about how hot she is. there was a couple times where she would be like right behind me and stuff, me not knowing, and she could have like twisted my head off with a pinch, but she just sucked. I was in her photography class as well, and I had been doing animations in Photoshop, and she'd give us these giant packets on how to do something like blur the background, and I would just do it my own way that was a little faster, and showing her how.
Oh, they hate that.
Oh, I know. They hate that. And I was like, you can actually skip these 3 steps if you just use this. And she would say, no, do it by the packet. And I was,
really picturing like a monster here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A little known fact. She married her cousin. We went to high school with her. I know, right? Hey, Wyoming. And we went to high school with her son, and her son had a nipple on his shoulder.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, I was really jealous of that.
Did he like show you?
He was in wrestling.
Wearing a tank top?
He's like on the cover of the yearbook pointing at it.
He's in wrestling.
Hi, my name's Joe. I have a nipple on my back.
He's just ramming his shoulder into everybody's head on the mats. Just suck it.
Oh, you know
And
it.
that's how he won.
Every time, like sticking it in their mouth, and they're like, I give.
Yeah, he wins every match because they're just like, oh, okay, I quit.
He just psychs him out. He's just licking his finger and flicking the nipple right before the round starts.
Oh man, that's how you get into someone's head before a match, you know?
Right? He's gonna win every fucking time doing that.
Yeah, the guy was like,
shoulder you said, or
the like kind of almost like the end of his collarbone, kind of by the top of his shoulder, and he was like a 4.0 average. Really good student and a pretty big guy, and
you're one or the other. If you have a shoulder nipple, you're either like the lowest of the low, or you're just awesome. There's no gray area,
right? That's why I was always like, that's where you get your powers, man.
Is it cold in here, or is it just my shoulder?
That's what he would say to drugs.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still a little distracted with what you were saying before. I keep picturing a 6'4" woman with a box of pine cones walking in a parking lot at night, and it's kind of terrifying to me. Or like if I was like on a hike and there was just this giant woman picking pine cones and throwing them in a box.
It's like wrestling them away from squirrels.
Yeah, I would not say good morning. I would just walk the other way quietly. It's kind of scaring me a little bit.
It was terrifying. Like I would be walking like just around at night because just being a cool kid, you know. And basically, she would be pulling pine cones from the top of pine trees like they're onion rings on those like racks that they have. You know when you have the tower of onion rings? She'd just be plucking these pine cones from the top of it and just kind of put the whole tree in her purse.
Then she'd hear you and corkscrew around the tree 3 times until she lowered to your eye level. Like, what are you doing?
I'm hiding behind. I'm like trying to stay hidden by keeping close to her legs, you know?
Just got to get real low.
Stay in her blind spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she lumbers around like Leatherface.
Exactly. Man, this scares me. If she ever heard this one day, it would take 3 steps for her to get over to where I am now. Right? And but she kept trying to make us draw just like stuff that, you know, I wasn't learning. And I was drawing a bunch of stuff outside of class and I would turn it in for like 10 points. Hooray. And I just turned in so much extra credit that I succeeded with my 52%, you know, and wouldn't do any of the kind of assignments she'd give us. And now I actually have a career in drawing. Take that, Mrs. Taylor.
Take that.
Yeah, go pick your pine cones.
I wonder if she's heard about that and it just gives her like sour face.
I hope so.
Or she's one of those assholes that's the opposite. It's like, I always knew that boy had potential. I saw it.
Oh.
He didn't.
Stick figures, I figured.
Yeah, exactly. I taught him to draw. You know,
I put him on my shoulder and had him pick the pine cones.
And I taught him everything he knows about comedy.
Metaphorically.
Why, thank you, Miss Taylor. You've always been my BFG.
New topic.
All right, how we met. Again, maybe.
But going back to how I met you guys, all of you, and we stayed good chums. And then ended up working on a whole bunch of cartoons together. over the
Yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah.
Collaboration.
Yeah, and yeah, it's crazy that it all comes from that. That was like the two forums I would use is the Tomorrow's Nobody forum and the Stick Suicide one where I met like Rob, Dave, and Matt and everything, and that shit's crazy. You know, you guys are doing streams. A big thing for the kids right now is eat. They call it food streaming, where you just eat.
What?
I swear to
Food
God.
streaming?
Yeah, you just eat food on stream.
I've seen similar stuff to that. How's it entertaining?
I feel like I'd be good at this.
Yeah, I think I could do pretty all right at this too. And it's got to be some fetish shit. Like nobody's just watching like, oh, like somebody.
Oh man,
Oh, for sure.
you're absolutely right, because it's especially big in like a lot of the Asian countries, and it's usually like pretty people eating, you know. And so then it's like, oh, weird. And then they're like, how's it taste?
Well, if Whacking It streaming takes off, then David's gonna be set for life.
Oh, I know. I could have like a 12-hour show.
Oh man, and then you know,
God damn it!
a doctor visit right after that.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a small price to pay. I
like
only gotta go on once every 2 months, and boom. Or if I make it more regular, I can put a couple kids through college. You know, whatever. It's good.
There you go.
Play my part. My penis put you into school, little man.
That sounds highly illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you make it to college, little boy? That guy's penis.
Oh, you know, wank streams.
All the comments are saying, "Dude, it's too chapped. You have to stop."
Yeah, your hands are like completely
Lotion. Lotion.
It's bleeding.
And then there's a spike in views. The fucking
Oh,
bleed
yeah.
scene is like, oh yeah, here we go.
Oh, you haven't heard of this new thing? It's called bleed streams. Just people typing in, how does that feel? Oh, not great? Okay.
Some weirdo comes in, squeeze a lime on it.
Jesus.
Then you can, you know, that's crossing over with the food streams, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it with a hair straightener.
Cross marketing right there.
Man, we're all in the wrong business.
Yeah, right?
People
I
are...
don't think I'd watch that.
Oh, I know.
I need a webcam and
That's it. Webcam and a lunch.
little little lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Some lotion.
And, yeah, like, I think that people are just becoming so lonely, and they need, like, to feel like someone's in the room. But the idea of, like, sitting there and watching someone eat, you know, that's not what you do when you're in the room with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nowhere I would ever go and just stare, like, without
And like
blinking
really
at somebody
listen to them
eating.
eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen you perform lunch before.
It's nothing special. I've seen better.
He's really laying it on thick, though.
Yeah. Bit hammy. Yeah.
Is your jalapeno burger really that spicy?
Yeah. You weren't even breaking a sweat.
For some reason, every time I eat him, my dick starts stinging.
So curious, I'm trying to think. The first time we all met, was it Comic-Con 2006? Is that when we
That's
met
right.
in person?
Yeah, that was the first time I met, Rob, Matt, and Dave in person, too. It was all
No
one
shit.
big get-together.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. It was like, you know, in those
Lining
movies.
of the Stars.
Yeah. Like in those movies like is it Varsity Blues? What's the one with Keanu Reeves, the football movie? But it's that
Varsity.
Varsity Reeves.
The Matrix, I think.
Yeah, where, you know, someone's out there saying, I gotta get the team together. Oh, but I don't do that anymore. And then we all suddenly unite. But yeah, we all met and united over a booth that you guys were sharing with Maddox.
Yeah.
I remember you guys were all wearing T-shirts that were like, "We're Explosm."
Yeah, because we had like 1 hour signings a day, and we're like, "Hey, everybody, get a load of me."
Did you guys have anybody stop you just by like reading your shirts, like you are, or did that not work at all?
I ran into a guy when we were waiting kind of outside the booth, you know, for the signing hours to start. We ran into a guy who had the "I Have the Cape" T-shirt we used to sell, and he didn't know who we were, and I just started talking to him about the shirt, and I was like, "I like your shirt," and he was like, "Thanks, I just got finished having a conversation about it with Rosario Dawson." No way, that is so cool. And then, we sat
Can
down.
you introduce me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think that was that the same day that Maddox received brownies from his fans, and then he was like, I'm not eating these, and Chase was like, I'll have them.
Yeah.
I ate that thing.
Mystery brownie.
It tasted bad.
I don't think I would have trusted that.
Yeah. Try to avoid that.
Except maybe nowadays I would. Maybe now I would. I was like, fuck it, whatever, just give it to me.
I
I
shouldn't
say-
have, but I had a piece too. I was like, well, if Chase is doing it.
We
If a
die
stranger
together.
gives you a brownie,
Yeah.
you eat the brownie.
Yeah. Stacy, you're the half-blood there that needs to help him while Chase goes all in.
Yeah.
I was like, does riding the bus look crazy to any of the rest of you?
I'm pretty sure me and you were arguing whether they were working or not, and then we're just like, whoa, why are we arguing?
Like, this bus is long.
How far down to this volcano are we gonna drive?
Which seat has the steering wheel with it?
Tell that dolphin to use his blinker.
You know what? That year sucked because I was 20 years old and going to be 21 in about 6 days.
Was that 2007?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty...
So in 2006 and 7 you couldn't drink with us?
Yep.
Oh, that sucks. I don't remember
Oh,
that. I thought it
man.
was just 2006. And then
I was-
Chris, God,
I was that guy for a while. We went to Hooters together, and I had milk as a drink, and the waitress thought I was
remember that.
trying to fuck with her.
yeah, she thought you were being cute. It's like,
it's like,
no,
no, this
that's what
is-
he's having.
It's not a joke. I need to blow some bubbles and have a drink.
I wonder if they've heard that as just some weird pickup line. I mean,
Oh, I'm
fucking
sure.
Hooters. It's dumb and cheesy. Like, can I get some milk, baby?
Oh, yeah.
She was like, oh, another one of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really? I just want some milky milk.
Please?
Yeah, and then you do the grabbing at the air motion.
Yeah.
I'm very thirsty. Yeah,
You
well,
got screwed out of some
Yeah.
fun things, not being 21. We had some viewing party of a couple of the CNH cartoons, and you couldn't go.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking
Remember that.
the concert that we threw after the convention. Yeah, that was maybe a week before my 21st birthday, and we had the CNH cartoons there and a couple nerd rappers on MC Frontalot and folks like that, and some real good rap like Doomtree was there. They're good. And I had done all that video stuff with Austin Hawk at the same time. So I was a little bit more than half of the video content there. And our agent at the time was like, no, it's fine. You can still just put a thing on your wrist. Doesn't matter. You're not 21. And no way in hell did they let me in. They're like, yeah, I know that you're part of throwing this little shindig and all, but get the fuck out of here, kiddo. And
I couldn't believe it. I was like, these are his cartoons.
And I was like, that sucks, bro, but I'm of age now, so later.
exactly.
I'm not doing this another year.
Yeah. Later, and then a real long sip. Yeah, and then
I'm gonna go not afford the cocktails.
yeah, that was at the Casbah in San Diego. So Austin and I, since we couldn't go there, we left to go get some dinner, and these three fans followed us in there and kind of invited themselves and then kind of interviewed us at the
Ugh.
dinner. And I was like, I need an adult.
I've seen those around you guys a bunch of times where we're just wandering around and then they start talking to you, and I'm like, did you know that guy?
Oh, yeah.
You guys,
Uh,
no.
There's
Tell him to go away.
There's a bit of inside baseball terminology of calling them barnacles because they just kind of jump into a group and then you just think they're with someone else in the group. And we've had people try to come into our hotel rooms and stuff like that. Oh yeah.
Seriously?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People try to have tried to go into our hotels. People have tried to go with us back to our office in Texas, and yeah, people
so
just kind of say
weird. That
"Where are
is
we
so
going, guys?"
Yeah.
It's hard for me to relate because I don't think there's anything I've ever liked even half that much to even consider doing something like that.
I had small versions of that just at the TM booth.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
great because we'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to leave now. And people were like, okay. And then they'd just go do their thing. It was cool. They weren't well, I mean.
That's not true. They'd follow us to smoke breaks. We had to tell them to stop.
There's one
Oh
dude
man.
who followed us.
Oh, the raver
I
kid?
remember. Yeah.
Stop dancing.
Yeah. There's no beats. Zero.
Was he just dancing at the air?
Oh, he was going for it, too.
He was like dancing in front of our booth. It's like, you're not helping.
Yeah. Like, nobody's walking by like, oh, what's that dancing kid by?
Oh,
You guys went and did Shoot David in the Balls, and Chase was
Oh,
playing
my
his
God.
guitar, and Raver Guy was dancing next to him.
Oh,
David,
my
explain Shoot David in the balls. New topic.
Shoot David in the Balls.
Oh, yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know Shoot David in the Balls, it was a money-making scheme that I had in Comic-Con 2006, 7, and 8. We first introduced it in 2006 because I had no money going to this convention. So I had nothing. Like, we were just there, so I needed money for food and drinks and whatever else. And we bought these, like, pump-up foam dart guns. These guns would pack so much pressure when you pump them up. And the dart was a giant, it was a thick foam dart with a hard plastic tip on the front. And for whatever reason, we just decided, hey, let's film ourselves shooting at each other. And the goal is to try to hit somebody in the balls before the other person does. Because they were kind of inaccurate. And, you know.
And it was the best when you shoot David in the balls because he really plays it up like it hurts even though he's lying.
Bullshit, Chase.
He's like, oh, my balls.
I didn't play it up that much. And if it hit just
balls,
right,
that's
it
what they
fucking
exist.
sucked. You saw my face go red, you know. But anyway.
I saw it a whole bunch of times. He had the same lines over and over like, it really tapped me in the right spot. It's like...
So anyway, not to drag out the story too much
You were
further,
very convincing.
we did this and it was funny and we thought it was hilarious and I was like, oh, we're gonna bring a gun with and I'm gonna offer people like they can try to shoot at me at my balls for $1. And if they hit me in the balls, sweet, they get a prize. We give them like stickers and stuff. And if they miss, well, they can try again. And that's what I did. Like we started inside and
we had a huge line too. It was awesome.
yeah, like cause the first year we were there, we were by like a long row of exit doors, so there was no booths to the right of us. So we were like, "This is perfect. We'll set it up here." So we were doing Shoot David in the Balls for a while and just racking up some cash. And out of nowhere, G4. God, when did that even go away? G4, the network, they used to cover like video games and stuff like that on television. They came up and wanted to interview us.
Interviewing David.
Yeah, and they're interviewing us, and then they've got the Comic-Con officials with them, and they saw that we had a projectile, so they shut us down. And then G4 was like, "Cut the interview, we gotta go." Like interview got shit on. So there was potential promotion possibility there that got squandered, and then they're like, "You can't have this inside." So we were like, well, fuck you. Fine. We're taking it outside. And that was the best thing that ever happened to us.
We're the only ones outside.
Well, no, that day.
We're like, come on, everyone. And then it's just us.
Well, no, because it was way later that day. But the following days, when you go to Comic-Con in San Diego, you get there like 2 hours before they let people in. And there's just a huge line of people waiting outside. So we used to walk up and down this line. Chase would have a little keytar playing jingles. We'd be carrying a sign that said "Shoot David in the Balls for $1," and people are just bored and miserable waiting to get inside to spend their money. They see this, they're like, all right, that guy looks like an idiot. I want to shoot him in the balls. Here's $1. And it worked. It was so good. I think one day, like, my top grossing was like $160.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't share any of that with me, even though I was doing half the work, damn it.
It wasn't shoot Chase in the balls.
I was out there with the keytar going... Shoot David in the balls. $1. Shoot David in the balls.
Yeah, he was your crier.
Used to be grapes, soon to be grapefruits.
Yep. and it worked. It worked on so many people, and it was great. I'm sure I bought you a drink or some food or something.
I had different songs. You press one key, and I'd have shoot him in the balls, shoot him in the balls.
Oh, yeah. That one's my favorite.
It's amazing. See, no one does anything that cool at these conventions anymore. Like, you guys had it right. You're shooting David in the balls for $1. I remember Chase was like, I'll draw a drawing of me insulting you for $5.
Yeah.
Oh, that was $1.
That's amazing.
$1 per drawing.
Yeah. That's amazing. There's like, man, it's just, they've gotten like, especially San Diego has gotten just so much more boring than that at these days. There's not much to do with like comics and animation. It's all like, what's the next Marvel movie? And
oh yeah,
it was kind of getting that way in 2008 was the last year I was there, and even then it was kind of like that. So I couldn't even imagine now, like almost 10 years later, it's probably just a shit show.
Oh, yeah. It's like most of it's moving outside the building, too. So, people don't even really need to go inside the convention because there will be a full Call of Duty virtual shoot 'em up bouncy castle, and
I would do that.
Awesome.
You didn't have me until you said bouncy castle, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to San Diego.
exactly.
Look, we're all going to the bouncy castle.
I don't even need the VR set. Whee!
And I'll be working inside doing drawings and stuff for people and just scratching at the window wanting to go to the bouncy castle.
Just shoot you a text. This is so much fun.
I remember Aaron Hansen and Ross came by the booth and saw I know Ross in particular saw my drawings for $1, insults come free, and he was like disgusted that I was charging people for drawings. He was like, "You charge them?"
Which Ross was
yeah,
this?
I have no money.
Ross O'Donovan?
Ross O'Donovan, yeah. And I was like, "No, I'm cool, I swear."
Genuinely poor.
And he walks away like, "That guy's a douche."
Guy's a douche and a con man.
I have moments like that with like all of the Newgrounds people, just alienating one at a time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's such an eclectic bunch.
I don't think I've done anything Newgrounds since that Castle Crashers party after Comic-Con.
Oh, I still
How
get
was
bummed
that?
when I think about that.
That was another thing you got screwed out of because you weren't 21 quite yet.
Oh, and don't forget
Yeah.
the GWAR concert that happened directly next to our hotel that I couldn't fucking go to.
New topic. Oh my
And it
god.
was free.
Yeah, GWAR was playing in the hotel directly next to where we were staying, and I was like a couple days away from my 21st birthday. And it was like, all right, guys, see you later. Have fun. You guys come back like your entire body is tie-dyed with just fake blood.
I remember you described it as, you guys look like you fell into a bowl of Fruit Loops.
They gave out free tequila shots and beer.
Yeah,
Those guys are like, they're rock and roll, man.
Absolutely.
totally.
Yeah, not anymore.
Well, no,
Well,
never.
yeah.
Ever since they got rid of, like, who is the new?
The heart of the band died, so.
Well, yeah, but who's
He
the
was
new?
my favorite.
I know, but the lead singer that they brought on afterwards, what was her name again?
Volvatron.
Volvatron. That's right. Apparently, they got rid of her because she was too much of a drunk.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Like,
Yeah, how do you
Doesn't that
outdrink
come
GWAR?
with-
How do you like?
You're
she had a pretty sweet metal scream, and she sprayed blood out of her tits.
see, that's great.
How do you fuck that up?
If you're too drunk to spray, you're just laying face down on the stage and just blood
just
is
sitting
leaking.
in a pool.
People would still be into it. Like, oh, is this part of the show?
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
You have to face the crowd, not the drummer.
I don't. Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, how can you fuck up a GWAR show if you did just drink until you pass out and just like tip over a bunch of amps? Everyone's gonna be like, "Fuck yeah!"
I would love that.
That's what I love so much about Odorous. He'd put on the monster costume, and he looked really drunk most of the time in interviews. Like, you could just tell, like, his eyes are glazed over a bit under the mask.
Yeah, you get like, I don't care how much of a costume you put on, you are visibly drunk.
That is still
Yes.
wasted face.
So I still haven't got to see him, and I blame you guys for no real tangible reason. Just
My bad, man.
yeah. Well, I'll.
Blame your time of birth.
New topic.
Getting born jokes.
God damn it, Mom! A few more days earlier. That's all I ask.
If you would have come out premature, there wouldn't have been a problem.
I was actually
Yeah,
3 weeks late when I was born, and I've been 3
That's
weeks
on
late
you.
to everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so,
That's
yeah,
on
that's
you.
on you, man.
Yeah.
You were
I've
just
been-
up in there. You're
Go,
like,
Kris.
no, not yet. No, you could have had it all, Chris.
Yeah, I got a good
Now
thing
I'm
going.
chilling.
Yeah, exactly. Clean up my room.
I don't do well with change.
Yeah. Got a good thing going here. Worked hard on it.
Kind of don't have to do anything yet, but hang out, so
Right.
just gonna
After
chill
3
out and
weeks,
collect nutrients.
Being
she
inside
got
a
rid of
womb-
my pool. I gotta go.
Yes. Being inside a womb, I imagine, is a lot like a GWAR concert.
Oh yeah,
In some
much
respects,
less.
yeah.
and you're really warm. from all the body heat around you.
Yeah, and when you come out, you look like you were dipped into a bowl of Fruit Loops.
And there's a good chance you do have piss and feces on you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like, everyone loves their mom for the most part. Now think of how she more than likely just shat all over you while you were born.
Yeah. Or pre-to, and you were just dragged across it when they pulled you out.
Yeah. To take this too far real quick, orgasmic births are a very common thing. So, consider that.
You're welcome, Mom.
Yeah. And the doctor's just like, she's faking it.
I'll have what she's had.
Dad's like, you think you're so hot?
Yeah, he punches the doctor. Motherfucker.
No one makes my wife orgasm.
Yeah. Or just punches the kid. I'm the only one that makes her come.
Punch the baby back in.
Back in.
You come back out when you've thought about what you did.
There's no corner to face in a womb, Dad.
Whatever, I'm just going to play Nintendo.
My first memory was of video games, man. It was of Mega Man.
Nice.
Which one?
I think it was Mega Man 2. My brother was playing it.
That's awesome. That's a great first memory.
Right?
Was it just sheer terror? Because everywhere you went, you were dying?
Yeah, man. Those blocks that fucking disappear out from under you.
Oh, and then you're just fucked.
Yeah, I might have this wrong. I might have this wrong because I'm not sure when Mega Man 3 came out. But for some reason, maybe it's a false memory because I ended up playing it later in my childhood. But I slightly remember like Shadow Man, the one with the
That'd
shuriken.
be Mega Man 3.
Yeah, that's 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the one I played a lot as a kid.
Yeah,
mostly with Game Genie.
Mega Man 3, I got that when I was in first grade. So, yeah, it might have been like 91.
Okay. Yeah, I was born in 88. So I was, and my first memory, I was like 2 or 3. I remember being real top heavy, like where you waddle around with your stupid heavy head. It's so
Just
big
dome
and it
takes you
doesn't do
everywhere.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember just like struggling to walk a little bit, and my brother switched from playing Mega Man to some soccer game. And I remember just kind of waddling around, and that's the earliest memory I have. And then my brother got a Nintendo when I was 3. So, I'm pretty much, I'm pretty much a slave to the video game Megacorp.
I just imagine little Kris playing Mega Man and the block disappearing, and Mega Man falls into the spikes and explodes, and you're just like, life is pain.
I've definitely
That's
carried
funny.
that
I
with
think
me.
I have like a similar thing. I don't know if I have any further back, but I definitely remember like being a really little kid, and it's before we had a Nintendo, and I was playing the first Mario with the controller upside down and being gawked at by adults like, how is he doing it?
We have a prodigy. You're the whiz.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It's like a science experiment.
Someone get this kid a power glove.
Another one would go like, he's holding the controller upside. Get over here, Gene.
It reminds me how I used to impress my parents by spotting Harley Davidsons, and they'd be like, wow, she can spot a Harley! And I literally would just see the logo.
Yeah.
Still, though,
That
I mean,
unmistakable logo.
What?
I didn't know.
I mean, Stacy, that's like, imagine that's like pretty fucking cool for a baby or a toddler to just be like, look, another Harley, and they're like, yeah.
I felt like I was a little too old for it to be so impressive, but I don't know.
Like I was 11.
Yeah.
You're like, look, there's a Harley. Give me my fucking pat on the head.
It was last weekend. Oh, hey, 4 dudes riding Harleys. Whoa.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
How did you get those leather streamers to hang off your T-shirt? Hey, Pops. My parents were Harley Davidson folks through and through.
Yeah, mine too. Like my dad's whole side of the family are all Harley Davidson people.
Fuck yeah.
I don't think there's a single person in my family who ever rode a bike. I'm trying to think. Actually, no, that's a lie. It definitely wasn't a Harley, but my mom's uncle out in Michigan, he had a bike, but it was like a candy apple red, like metallic-y looking bike, and it was all like boxy. It definitely wasn't Harley status. I don't know what he was driving. But yeah, we were a sedan family. Watch out.
My dad, as he was, I was like the 4-year-old that he would have sit in front of the handlebars.
The first to die if you took a spill.
Oh yeah, I was the windshield. You know,
you were the padding.
Yeah, this
I'm
keeps
gonna land on the
bugs off
boy.
my face. Yeah.
Why do they keep calling me the airbag?
I guess I talk too much. Yeah, and then like as soon as my dad shaved off his like Harley goatee, he started like wearing khaki shorts and playing golf.
That's how it
What
starts.
happened?
That's a steep
Wow.
transition, yeah.
Yeah, he got a boat, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man, it's like Samson. You know, he shaved off all his powers.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Did
You're not my father.
when you were young, did your dad have a beard for a while and then suddenly shave it all off at an age where it would freak you out?
It was terrifying to see him when he came back shaved because he had to for his work, and yeah, he started with the beard and then went with the goatee, you know, and then they'd have like people who were going across country in a biker gang. They were friends with them, and they would pop in and have a big old barbecue. And yeah, then just for work, shaved off that whole goatee, and it's like, oh my god, I've never seen most of your face. I'm realizing this is
Arm's length, Dad.
yeah.
No, like my entire life up until I was 19 or 20, my dad always had just like a mustache, and like a hearty mustache too, not just like a little like it was Tom
Like
Selleck.
handlebar?
No, like a Tom Selleck style mustache, not as thick, like that design, just pow, like mustache, like dude with the mustache, he's got that. And he had that forever. And then it was just gone, like no warning or anything. And he looked weird.
Yeah.
It was weird, like how he looked like a much younger version, but also somehow a much older and weirder version of himself at the same time.
Kids like have to be eased into it. It was a shock to me too, because my dad had a full beard, and then just out of nowhere it was all gone. And I literally didn't recognize him, and my mom was just talking to this guy in the kitchen one day. And then they're like, "This is your dad," and I'm like, "No, it's not." And I like ran away.
How'd you feel if you would like
Hid.
if you just gave her like an ass tap, like there you go, baby, like ah.
Mom, what the fuck?
Yeah, like he could have been missing his lower jaw. He had no idea. And then all of a sudden, bam, full frontal dad.
New topic.
Comic-Con chat.
So
Is that
question for you, Kris. You've done a ton of conventions, and I'm sure wacky stuff has happened. What is like the wackiest or just weirdest, like how the hell did this even happen scenario from any of the conventions that you've done?
man, it's hard because there's so many different levels of weird. It's hard to stack one up above the other.
Fair
But
enough.
I'll tell you that every time you go into a convention bathroom, you're going to leave with a story.
Oh, I know. Okay, but I'll let you go. But yeah, you're true. It's true.
I want to hear yours as well.
Okay.
But like
Considering
I've
that
gone
reaction.
I have gone into a convention bathroom and seen just the foot of a furry sitting in the center. No owner, just sitting there. Everyone's like diverting their paths to walk around it because you never know. It could be, someone's, wank sock or whatever. You have no idea.
It guaranteed it was.
Someone's like, I'm done, throws it over the stall. And, oh, Jesus,
But
man.
it was
so many
straight up
stories.
like a costume foot.
Yeah, like it was huge, and it was obviously it had claws on the end, and usually when an animal loses a foot, you turn it into some sort of umbrella holder or something. But it was just kind of sitting in there, and everyone was walking around it, and I just don't know who decided that. You know what, my fursona has one human foot.
Fursona, right?
Something terrible
Yeah.
could have happened to that furry.
David had an
Got
encounter with
dragged
the
away.
dog guy. Remember
Oh,
when that-
yeah. Okay, so this was 2007. Yeah. So the hotel we were staying at, we were the second to the last of the line. Oh, wait, no. We were the second pickup spot, weren't we?
Yeah, we had to watch the bus fill up.
Yeah, so we were like the second spot to get picked up. And yeah, we get
I
on
had
there.
Stacy as a buffer, so that was awesome.
Yeah, so there's an aisle, of course, dividing the seats, and it's like 2 seats on each side. Chase and Stacy sat on one. I took the window on my other. And we're going like hotel to hotel, and nobody's sitting by me. They're all filling up seats everywhere else on the bus, and it's great. And we get to the last stop, and as we're pulling up, I see a dude like head to toe decked out in furry wolf costume. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck, he's going to sit by me. There was a number of seats in front of me. There was an ass load of seats behind me. He sat right next to me. And like as he sits down, I just plant my head on the window because I'm still really hungover, and I see this guy, and I didn't want anybody to sit by me, let alone the furry dude. And I can hear Chase and Stacy across the bus just. Then my phone goes off. I get a text from Chase that just says "wolf," and I'm like, God damn it! So we're driving to the
I remember
convention.
seeing you check your phone and then like just immediately turn your head back to the window.
Yeah. So we're driving to the convention, and of course it's San Diego. It's summertime during Comic-Con. There's traffic everywhere. We're in gridlock, and this dude, he's in this giant costume, so like I have to be against the window because he's practically like I don't want to be leaning against him. He's pushing on me, and the entire time he's just making weird noises. Like it was like a weird grunt. He was just like. Oh. But then out of nowhere, just periodically he'd have a higher pitched one, just like and that was the whole fucking ride to the convention center, and it felt like it was 2 hours long. Yes, the whole fucking time. I don't know what he was doing. Yeah, we kept somehow running into Dog Person the entire convention. Like he was, right. He ended up in the background of at least like 2 of my pictures somehow.
Fucking dog man.
Yeah, like oh man, my brother was a furry as well.
Oh no, and, the same brother who introduced you to Mega Man.
That's the one. I think how you go from that is cartoons, Disney stuff. You know, like the kind of Looney Tunes stuff where it's like, you know, you'll have like the fox in the zoot suit, and then suddenly the sexy fox walks in.
Ow!
Ow! And then, you know, I feel like that's why furries weren't existing like 80 years ago. It's because there wasn't a whole lot of that going on where, you know, people are watching this, maybe they're kids, maybe they're older, and then something awakens.
And because if you walked out in public during the 80s and 90s, you just get the shit kicked out of you. Yeah. And then on the news, they'd be like, a freak walked in, but it was promptly taken care of. New topic.
Metal Gear Solid.
You know what Stacy did last night is almost complete Metal Gear Solid 1.
Nice.
Oh yeah? Almost complete. Where are you at?
Well, we watched the ending on YouTube. The disc wouldn't read, and it was
the PlayStation was fucking up quite a bit as I was watching it.
She just finished the fist fight. Finally got through it.
With liquid?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
And then the disc stopped spinning, and like it happened a few times before, and I just like opened it up and closed it again, and it starts working. But this time I had confused the open button with the power button.
Oh no!
So I'm like, all right, here we go. Bloop, and I just turned it off.
Now, have you tried setting your PlayStation at a 45-degree angle? Maybe atop some books or anything?
Yeah, try rubbing some toothpaste on the disc.
Yeah.
On the disc?
No, it doesn't work. It was something I read out of game magazines as a kid, and
That
like
sounds
heard as a
stupid,
rumor on the
yeah.
internet. Yeah, it ruins your disc. I don't know. Trolled.
You need a serrated blade. Just cut off that layer of scratched.
Stacey, what do you think of Metal Gear Solid?
Fun and infuriating.
I gotta ask, did you? How did you treat the torture scene? Did you give in or did you stick it through?
I gave in. I didn't want to have to start over.
Oh, so you're familiar with the ending though and everything. I imagine you're not exactly like really hanging on the edge of how the story ends. But
oh my god, every time cutscenes would start, she'd just glaze over and like just start looking around the room.
But that's the game.
No, that's what I keep saying. She's like,
I'm the
making
opposite
me
guy.
mad.
I fucking love cutscenes and I want showered in them. I also love that everyone is kind of not only weird but sexualized.
Yeah.
Absolutely everyone. They never skip sexualizing a character.
You
know,
can't
it's like,
help
oh.
but laugh every time Snake's like, I think two people can fall in love on the battlefield.
Yeah, exactly. A rose can bloom on the battlefield. Anyway, watch me blow this guy's brains out.
Now I'm gonna shoot this woman in the head.
I got a napkin, you know. I'm not disrespectful. Put it over her face. What was the aggravating part for you?
Yeah, favorites, least favorite parts.
Well, one of my favorite parts was a glitch that happened in a boss fight.
Totally ruined the Vulcan Raven fight.
Oh.
He got stuck in the wall, so I just kept hitting him with the guided missiles.
Lame.
Like, it was just barely getting started. Like, he had most of his health. He could just get stuck on a corner, and she just shoots him, like,
I was like,
10
oh,
times
he's
in a row.
not moving.
That never happened for me.
Me either. I mean, guided missiles is the way to go.
Yeah.
But
That's not what I did.
he's just facing a corner like, you can't hide from me, Snake.
Yeah. He was just, like, trapped, going boom, 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 boom.
I actually played one of the Splinter Cell games before this, and like other sneaky games like that. So
Right.
all this stuff kind of came instinctually with the sneaking around, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure she
Oh,
was
yeah.
going to make it when we first turned it on, and then she, like, just cleared the first room without dying or anything. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, hell yeah.
But
See, that's awesome.
I died when I played this 2 days ago.
And I was like, I'm gonna kick ass at this game, and then it got really hard.
I remember playing the demo for it forever ago out in Michigan. Like, a buddy of mine he got it. I don't know how he got it. Maybe it was, like, attached to another game. And,
No, I had that. It was a demo disc, yeah.
yeah, I could not get past that first section. I was like, fuck this game. Because
You just get to an elevator.
Well, I had never played any game where you had to sneak before, so it blew my mind. It's like, why can't I just run up and punch this guy? I'll jump on his head. Like,
Yeah.
I have to break their necks, though. I can't just not break their necks.
oh, you're that guy?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Dude, it was the huh? Yeah, it was the same kind of experience for me where we had the demo disc and I tried playing it and I found it a little scary at the time. Where like brink and you get spotted, and then I would the only thing I knew what to do is just to go to people and just throw them.
Yeah.
So they just tumble over and they go oof, and they just jump up and shoot me. And they're like,
Yeah.
that was silly. Yeah. So I'd be like, I would grab my brother and be like, beat this.
I was playing it the other day, and like I'd never seen it before. But if you go to the like bottom right corner of the room, he'll do a fucking swan dive back into the water.
Yeah, he'll do
I
a
never
swan
knew
dive in
that.
the
I
water.
was like, whoa!
The amount of times I've played that game all the way through since I was a kid, it has to be like 4 or 5 dozen times, like all the way to completion. And I'd still find stuff on accident, like you're just taking a picture of a random spot and suddenly there's a ghost. And
Oh yeah.
And,
It's funny that like the worst part of Metal Gear Solid 1 is pretty much the gameplay.
You think so? Because I really liked it. Like just like
I think it's very
like-
addictive. Like when I started, I can't stop.
oh yeah,
But
I like all that stuff.
after you
Yeah,
get
that's-
past Psycho Mantis and you start forgetting what the rest of the game is,
Yeah, that's the best part. Hands down.
it's like all the shooting and stuff is garbage.
Yeah, it's not intuitive at all. Like, it's
Going up the stairwell is fucking bullshit.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the stairwell sucks, but not as bad as what they did in Metal Gear 3, where they have that ladder.
I love
And,
the ladder.
You love it?
When I made it to the
Well, I
ladder,
guess
I was like, fuck yeah, because they just kept going and they played that Snake Eater track.
What a thrill.
Yeah. Bro, just, I'll give my life, not for you. And I'm like, yeah, climb that fucking ladder.
And then, like, you know, that's what I love about the Metal Gear games is, like, they're so long-winded and convoluted and so many times needless. But they blur that line between, like fantasy fiction and real military stuff and real history stuff to sometimes we're the point where you don't know what's real and what is actually part of their kind of stupid, weird lore. And
They spend so much time fucking explaining and over-explaining some shit, and some shit has zero explanation.
Yeah.
Like, after you switch the controller port and beat Psycho Manus, he's like, so you switched the genius or something, you know? Like,
Yeah, you switched to the second controller.
How could you ever guess that? Ever.
Well, that's what I love about it, is the game just kind of reaches out and pokes you in the face a bit and is like, oh, you like playing Castlevania, don't you? And, you know, reading your memory card and doing all that crazy shit. Or when, you know, like, hey, you got to contact Meryl. Oh, I remember. It's on the back of the game case.
yeah,
I love
was
that.
really hoping Stacy would get that one, but she would just get... She went on a search for the CD case in the
He's
game.
even told me about this in the past. Like he's talked about how much he loves Metal Gear and all these crazy things about the game. Like, oh, they just tell you look on the back of the CD case, and they're actually talking about the physical CD case.
Yeah.
But I totally fucking forgot while I was playing, and I was just like searching everywhere, and I'm like, I don't get it.
I was even like, I got a copy of...
He was trying to hit me.
Yeah, Twisted Metal 2. I got a really nice looking copy of that, and I was like, wow, look at the case on this. It's like mint condition. And then I put the stack of cases in front of her.
Oh, you don't really fuck with me too? Don't really fucked with me. It's
Still didn't work, though.
I was searching forever for the CD case, and then by the time Chase finally was like, alright, well, you're just supposed to look on the back of the actual CD case. I was like, God damn it, so I flip it over and I get the code and stuff, and then I go to my menu to type the number in, and then her number is just there, like, as if it knew that I flipped the case over, and I was like, what the fuck?
Right? Or it's like, hello, Meryl.
It was just coincidence, though, that after a certain amount of time, it just...
Yeah, the Colonel called her before that, and she was just like, shut up, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, he was like, Meryl's number is this. You're not getting it, so here's the answer. And she's like, shut up. Tap, tap, tap. Like, where is the answer?
My experience with that game was I rented it from Blockbuster.
Oh, my God, me too.
Yeah. So, of course, I had no case.
We called the store.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, see, those are like anti-piracy measures that down the road make it so no one can play your game.
Yeah, it was breakthrough shit.
All the women want to do Snake.
Yeah, like he hits on absolutely every woman in the game, in the first one at least, where he's like, "You're kind of cute," you know, talking to people over his codec.
And Otacon, kind of. He's like, how you feeling? And he grabs him.
Yeah,
And Otacon's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Snake's just like, I've seen a rose can bloom on a battlefield, and then he leans in for a kiss. Oh, you're not talking about me?
Otacon doesn't have it for a second. He's like, dude, gay.
Yeah, gay ew. And like the way that they approach all the tired tropes, where it's like the government approaches Snake, and he's like, no, I don't do that anymore. And they're like, yeah, Snake's like, all I want to do is hang out in Alaska and play with my puppies. And
Yeah, what the fuck? He's a dog musher.
yeah, he's a dog musher.
And the dogs hate him. They fucking hate him.
They
unless,
do. They
unless you have
absolutely
him
hate
pee on your box.
Exactly. You know, that's how you get anyone to like you. That's Hollywood, baby.
That's how you get ladies to like you. Whoa.
That's how Stacy
Ayo.
got me.
Pee on that box.
Peeing on yourself?
Beat on your box.
That is filthy.
Yeah.
But it worked.
It's time.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's Jank-Ass Podcast After Hours. Anything goes.
Here's what I'd love. Stacy, can you go over the plot of the game?
Fuck you.
What can you tell us about the plot of Metal Gear?
He's stopping nukes.
That's pretty good.
That's correct. Yeah.
What's the lady sniper's name? Like Gray?
Sniper Wolf.
Sniper
Sniper Wolf.
You
She
were
was
jumping
great.
some steps here, but go ahead.
I'm probably getting it wrong. But, Naomi betrayed him.
Now we're at the end.
And the colonel betrayed him.
Kind of.
There was a poison that poisoned those two guys that shared information.
Pretty good.
I
Talking
don't
about Fox
fucking
Die.
know. I know certain, I know the pieces, but I don't know how they fit together.
Did you know that love can bloom on the battlefield?
Does anybody want to ask me what Metal Gear 1 is about?
Please.
By all means.
It's a story about a clone who's ex-military is brought back in the military to stop his brother from making a mobile nuclear unit while they both suffer and die from a degenerative disease caused by nanomachines, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Good.
And, yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't get this. This is stupid. And then you can look into the heaps of information that they have and be like, this is way stupider than I thought.
Yeah.
Initially.
It gets
Better
the
off
most
being ignorant.
stupid after the credits end, and he's like, yes, Mr. President, you're one of the clones, too.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I know we just hit you with maybe 36 twists and turns, but get ready for another one.
New topic.
Would you rather time?
I've been waiting for this. Okay, you're wandering through the desert. Man, are you thirsty? And your shoes, man, they're so sandy. Lots of sand, lots of desert. You're walking and you find a lamp, right?
All right, so we're in Arizona.
Yeah, you're in Arizona, and
Everything's
you're like You're walking through the desert because that's much better than being in any sort of car in Arizona in the heat. And so you're like, I'm just going to walk through the desert. And you find a lamp. You're like, holy fuck, a lamp. You rub that lamp. A genie pops out. He's going to grant you a wish. But it's not 3 wishes. It's which would you rather wish? Would you choose one comically large penis or to have a bunch of little ones?
Comically large.
You don't say.
I'm gonna swirl it up in a wheelbarrow and carry that thing around to Home Depot.
Okay.
How
But,
comically large is said penis?
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a little more circumference than your leg and a little longer than your leg. So it's bigger than your leg.
That's easy to manage. You could roll that up.
Yeah, but there
Put it in
are
a
some
pouch.
caveats. Yeah, put it in a pouch. There you go. Of a fanny pack.
Perfect.
But yeah. So, but there's complications that come with that, right? Like you might be too large for intercourse. It's gonna sit in the toilet water when you go to the bathroom.
Nice.
But on the flip side, if you have a million small penises, you're not going to have a million small sexual encounters at once. So you're screwed either way in this scenario.
Where are all these penises?
And I'm hard pressed to think of a way that I could properly stimulate multiple small penises into a pleasurable I'm taking the comically large penis. That's what I'm doing.
Are the little penises everywhere? Like you're the cousin it of dicks?
How about this? The genie says, you get to pick where they are, but there's got to be 20 of them.
Oh,
20 of them?
Easy.
Yeah. All under the left arm.
Yeah, shoulder for me.
Left arm.
Right on the shoulder so I can wrestle.
So it's 20 small penises?
Yeah, give or take.
How small?
Let's see. They kind of look like a bunch of little outie belly buttons.
All right, now, Chris, curveball.
Okay.
What if I were to take 20 of these outie belly button penises and construct something that would be the shape of a regular penis?
I had the same idea. I was gonna
Stacking?
I'll put the first one where my old dick used to be, and then the second one on top of that. And stack them up. Maybe 2 rows of 10.
That's pretty good because then you'd have a pretty good sized penis, but it would be
And jerking off would be awesome because you're jerking off 20 of your dicks.
Yeah, imagine 20 orgasms at once.
Yeah, right? That's the plus. Even if it was like 3, that's way better than I know right now. And I'm thinking it'd be a lot easier to get myself into a scenario where I would fornicate with a
you
person.
think David can't stop whacking it now. Wait till he has 20 dicks.
Especially
All fingers and
altogether.
toes. All fingers and toes used to stimulate.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, well,
there's no way
also-
like a 5'7" oblong penis hanging out in a wheelbarrow. I'm gonna convince at least 1 or 2 people, and that doesn't sound like a good time. But like
You
with
make
the,
a
Right.
career out of that shit, man.
with the tiny penis tower, you could make a career out of the tiny penis tower too.
It would look like one of those towers from the Orient,
Yes,
where it's like roofs on roofs.
yes. There's little peaks and domes everywhere. Just
Right. Yeah, that's a pretty good way around it. How about you, Stacy?
So
How many dicks do you want, Stacy?
Feel like if you spread your hand open and just like rubbed in that area, you'd be pleasing so many penises at once.
Especially if you put them on your hands.
If you put them on your head.
I don't know.
All of them.
If I had like 10 penises slapping 10 of my penises, I don't know if that would do it for me. I mean, I've never tried,
for me.
but I'm just saying.
What, you've never done dick on dick?
To that volume.
I'd go with the tiny penises. Keep it discreet.
Okay,
Be able to
so
keep a
you'd
giant
like
penis discreet.
Practically, yeah, you're probably gonna go with the little dicks.
Yeah, they're just so
Yeah.
much more manageable.
Oh, I just feel like I'm just curious to where you'd put them to keep them discreet, because it's like, all right, first 5 or 10, yeah, I'll put some in the armpits and all that, but there's only so discreet. You can only be so discreet.
I don't care. Like I said, they would all form. They would all form up to a tower of an actual penis, but composed of 20 penises.
I'm just thinking this anatomically. Would it be like kind of like a crooked tree branch kind of thing?
Probably, and yes, every time I pee, it would explode everywhere.
I would
Looks
put
like
them lining my jawline. And then, dye them and say it's a beard.
Okay, so
There
you
you go.
can't keep them all in your genital area?
Wait, you want to dye your penises?
Flabbergasted.
Have you ever accidentally gotten hair dye in your eye?
No.
Okay. Oh well, you don't know the pain then. Now imagine if it landed in the other eye, and or 20 of them.
Right.
That sounds horrible.
That's my nightmare.
Especially 20 times. Like ouch, 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 ouch.
There'd be dick-safe methods.
Yeah.
I'd line up all the tiny dicks under my arms as if they're like hanging like tassels, like those sweet biker jackets.
They look like buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then you'd flap your arms and rock it off.
Do you piss out of all of them at the same time?
Well, you'd have to. I mean, you're not just going to have a no-channel penis hanging out on you. It's just kind of there. There's got to be wiring going to
No
it.
channel.
It's kind of
God,
like
if you have
those
like 20 of them?
fountains.
20 penises.
Yeah, like those fountains, like at the Bellagio.
Yeah.
They go off one at a time and then all at once and then one at a time.
If you had 20 of them to manage, God, I would hope they go all off at one time.
Yeah.
If you had just like one that had to go off now and then another 10 minutes from then.
Yeah, it's like, we just went.
I mean, if that was the case and I had to have 20 penises and they all had to go at the same time, they'd all face the same direction.
I'd have to be like, sorry, honey, my beard of dicks can be unpredictable.
I'm very sensitive about my condition, thank you.
Either way, you're going on Maury and you're getting a gift basket of some kind.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get like a nice vacation to a resort.
Yeah, you go on Maury and there's like 19 broads like, he's the daddy!
And they'd be like, what is it like? And you'd be like, the people at school made fun of my beard of dicks.
It was unfair. They know I have a terrible condition after running into that genie.
Yeah, I told them about the genie.
And then the beatings just got more severe.
I only had 2 options.
I only had 2 options, you see. I felt like more of a hostage to this genie.
And then Maury's like, well, we have a surprise. Bring out the genie.
I was like, boo, boo.
You had more options than that, idiot. I would have done
You know
anything.
the rules of a genie.
You took it at face value and you said, I wish.
You had a gun, genie.
Yeah. It was home court rules with this genie.
Here's a question. Am I still sandy and thirsty?
Very sandy. Somehow no longer thirsty.
Oh, then I choose the giant dick.
Okay.
The stakes have changed.
Yeah. But you can't keep the sun off it. Imagine shopping for pants. Oh, man, shopping for pants would be awful.
And then when you'd complain about your giant dick, everyone would be like, yeah, shut up.
No, we're not going to have you on Maury. God.
Just to brag about your giant dog.
I'm sorry, it's just hard for me to go places because of my giant dick.
You don't understand the struggles I have to go through because of my very, 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 very large dick.
I'd love to go swimming with you guys, but I really get weighed down by my giant dick. New topic.
Would you rather? Part 2. I was looking through, I was trying to dig up old Would You Rather stuff, and I found a Would You Rather you came up with a while ago, Kris.
Oh, sweet.
And yours was, would you rather have to smell everything up to a mile or taste with your fingers?
That is a good one.
I asked these guys this yesterday, and they immediately came up with a solution for the tasting with your fingers.
I stand
delicious
firm on
gloves.
my decision.
They were
Wait.
like, just buy a pair of gloves and put some Skittles on the fingertips. Boom.
Done.
Now you're just snacking all day.
Well, yeah, but that's best case scenario. But what if you have to get into a fight or help someone that's hanging off a cliff?
Well, then it'll crunch up my Skittles for better consumption.
I'm going to punch somebody in the face and be like, oh, razzleberry, and just keep going.
I believe that is one of the official Skittles flavors, razzleberry.
And if I got to help somebody over an edge, same deal. They're just crushing it. I'm like, I'll save you because you taste awesome, and it's over.
Well, I mean, couldn't you do the same thing with your nose, though? Just put something nice smelling into your nose? Block
That
it
seems
off?
more cumbersome than a glove, though.
Yeah,
People wouldn't even ask you about your glove. They're just like, well, I guess he is into fashion or something.
I'm going to say no based on... So, 2-part story. First part, I lost my sense of smell by taking a hit to the back of my head.
And the sense of taste went with it.
No, Siddharth. Second part is, I talked to a guy, same
You
exact
eat at
thing.
Waffle House.
Same exact thing happened. He took a blow to the back of his head, but instead of losing his sense of smell, it enhanced. So now, if he's within 15 feet of, say, a storefront, he can smell, all the perfumes and, the people and everything inside, and it gives him headaches, and it's terrible. That just, it sounds so bad. I'd rather just taste stuff through a glove.
He'd just be smelling everyone's dumps all the time.
Right? Yeah, God forbid he has to go by, a fucking Little League park and there's porta potties on the outside.
Well, but the tasty, yummy gloves can go too far. What do you, when you, say you have to wipe.
But they're gloves. You're not gonna turn the glove inside out, wipe, and then put it back on.
I would have a separate wiping glove.
Well, I mean, you could use paper, but you're still tasting Skittles, razzleberry. That's got to make some sort of complex, though, when it's yummy, I love wiping.
You guys are missing the best part anyway. Is that you could finger a girl and eat her out at the same time. Oh!
They love that. They love that.
I'm sure she'd be like, it's just the same.
It's just the same. Yeah, I don't have any superpowers. That's what you want to call it. Just regular old high school fingering. Okay, well, if you switch to if you switch gloves, there's no way to avoid it. At some point, you're going to be tasting the outside of that glove you've been using all day.
Oh, like you accidentally put on your shit glove and you're like, oh!
Well, unless you got like a nurse, if you have like a nurse that's switching your gloves for you, like a surgeon,
Well,
you're going to be touching the outside of gloves.
You take the gloves off with your teeth.
What a workaround.
And you don't taste a thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just stop using my hands and use my mouth for a hand and for everything.
You could just go to the grocery store and, like, touch all the merchandise for lunch. Here's that fucking guy that pokes everything. Get out of here! Stop touching my beef jerky.
Well, I just look at it as my hands are what I use to have, like, everything that I don't want to touch with my mouth. It's doing all the heavy, all the heavy lifting and all the stuff that don't want to do. And, like, when you're like, I hate how there's touchscreen everything, because then you're smearing your hand all over the thing you're staring at.
Yeah.
So,
It's so
like,
greasy after a while.
yeah. So, like, for me, it's like I can't cross that bridge where, I'm enjoying being able to taste with my hands.
What, you don't lick your phone?
No.
Is there a loophole? Could you, like, use your knuckle instead of your fingertip? Is it the full, like, all of your finger can taste, or just the tip? I mean, fucking touchscreens, you can make that happen with your knuckle, as long as they're not tasting.
Yeah, and you can wipe your ass with your knuckles.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Oh, man. So, if your hands had your sense of taste, what would you taste when you put your hands in your mouth?
God.
The very face of God.
You found me. I've been hiding behind this weird puzzle.
For the first time, I see.
Because I remember, like, something about tongues, man. Like, after that Kenny vs. Spenny episode where they did the tongue scrapings.
Oh my God, that's the grossest humiliation.
Thing.
So gross.
It's like, I just had no idea that, like, some of the worst things your body does is just right below your nose. And it's like, I never thought about tongue scrapings as an item.
Yeah, you already have the grossest shit on your tongue.
Exactly. And, like, I think eating should be censored.
Touch some shit, it's fine.
On TV.
Yeah, exactly. Like, your mouth's essentially genitals. So, I don't want to taste tongue. I want to taste hand. But sometimes,
it would seem pretty graphic, a close-up of a mouth chewing and just smacking lips and...
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, God, I hope my parents don't walk in on me watching this. That's why food streaming is like, no, Mom, no, Dad, I'm not watching food streaming. If
you veto the tasty glove, then it really is a conundrum for David, unless he likes to taste his own dick all the time.
I nicknamed my dick the Tasty Glove.
New topic.
Would you rather? Part 3.
Would you rather your hands secrete like a slug slime all the time, they're dripping, or every day without fail and unexpectedly you shit your pants sometime throughout the day?
Man, that is tough.
And like, you can't put you put gloves on your hands and they're not tasty, they just dissolve.
So this is this actual snail slime coming out of your hand, or just a okay?
Yeah. Like, you step on a slug. That's the shit.
Dude, just think of how cool cartwheels would become.
Just go sliding across the floor.
Dude, hell yeah. I might be leaning towards this snail hands. Like, okay, yeah, you have slimy hands, but you don't have snail pants. You're not sliming out there.
I've already made up my mind. Snail hands.
Yeah?
Yeah, it helps with jerking off.
A.
That's my line.
Is that all you think about, David?
A, and then B, I'm pretty sure I could get a reality show about the snail hands guy.
Yeah, there's no reality show for shit pants guy.
Yeah. Nobody wants Actually, wait, let's backpedal. That sounds like a great reality show. Like, when's he gonna do it? He always shits his pants, but we
It's
never
all
know.
about the suspense and tension.
Hi, I'm Fred. I'm a substitute teacher, and every day I shit my pants at an unexpected time.
It's like 10:30 p.m. There's an hour and a half left in the day, and he still hasn't shit himself.
So it's only once, though.
Just sweating in his kitchen. Like, oh, God.
He's going on a date today. What will happen?
God, I hope I shit my pants first thing in the morning.
That's how he sets up dates. We're either going to do it at 10 a.m. or 11 p.m.
You're wearing a diaper, or you're risking it all.
Yeah, pretty much.
You make it sound like an adventure.
He risked it all.
But will he get through his meeting without shitting himself?
On getting fame through the slime hands, I was gonna say that you could make a pretty sweet. Is it ASMR? Is the sound?
Yeah.
Make a
That's
sweet
the one.
ASMR video.
Oh, yeah, just like rubbing your hands together or like
Make some good
touching.
money off that.
Yeah, it's like you if you rub your hands together, it'd be kind of like a peanut butter jelly sandwich kind of effect.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you could never eat a sandwich.
Yeah, that's... Oh, man.
I couldn't give up sandwiches.
You could. You just
couldn't
have to
hold
ask
it.
them to cut them in small little cubes.
Carefully,
that
not
so
to get
fast.
your slug slime on it.
Well, no, you don't use your hands. You lean over your plate like a dog and just eat it. Done.
Yeah, but look, you're making a sandwich. How do you assemble the sandwich in the first place? You can't touch.
I'm reality TV slug man. I don't make my sandwiches at all.
David, think about it. If you had a hamburger or a sandwich and you're just gonna hover over it and go at it, that's no way to eat a sandwich, man. Everyone needs to tilt it.
Yeah,
you
I'm
can't
thinking
just...
like even if you're holding a fork, that juice is gonna slime down the fork unless you're holding it upright all the time.
How would you eat pizza?
I'm going for fame. Fame. Like, people can feed it to me. I'll be slug hands man.
You instantly get a show because you have slug hands? What the fuck are you talking about?
I can sell it.
That's how it works,
Nobody
man.
else in the world has the slug hands.
But that doesn't make it interesting television.
Okay, fine.
This
Ordering
guy
everybody
can't eat a
around.
sandwich.
We could bring back the early to mid '90s era of just like bad sports movies, and that could be Slughand, the pitcher. There'd be some washed-up comedian in the outfield, just like, "Oh, here it comes, Slughand," and
Sounds like
boom.
a fucking gamble to me.
Yeah, like the ball would just stick to the bat, and then they don't know what to call it. Is that a foul? What is that? You just throw the bat into the outfield.
And if nobody caught it, that would be a hit. Boom.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah, slug hands. Today, slug
Old
hands is
Slughand.
gonna do a cooking show, and tomorrow he's gonna play a sport.
Somehow I feel like the pooping the pants thing would be easier to work around.
You think so?
It's too damn inconvenient, the slug hands.
It
Or
is.
over random shitting yourself? Like, what employer is going to take you? Okay, so
Well,
you
I
can't-
mean,
you can't do
How much
face-to-face
toilet
interviews.
paper are you gonna use? You gotta soak up the slug slime first before you even get to your ass.
You don't use toilet paper for slug slime because slug slime does not come from your ass.
You're
Yeah,
just
but-
gonna bend over and be like, "All right, production team that apparently I'm in charge of, hose down my ass,"
Yeah, some sorry intern.
which is better for David.
It's a stepping stone.
Having a whole team though has to make you feel good though. But like you do have to, like Chase's point being that you do have to still wipe your ass at least when you're by yourself. Say you take a couple vacation days from the show, and
That you, of course, are getting for some reason.
I got to take a break from reality, guys. I'll be back. But yeah, like touching paper, like it's all the things that high fives. There's turning a doorknob.
I can leave high fives. I can pay people to turn doorknobs.
Yeah, turning a doorknob. You'd be son of a bitch.
And what about washing yourself? You get slug slime in your hair every time.
I think there's a point where you'd give up, you know, where it's like, I'm covered in slime. What am I? That's like sweeping a dirt road. I'm not going to get clean.
Have you ever stepped on a slug? That shit, you can't just rinse it off either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking
When I used
horrible.
to skateboard in Seattle, I would roll down this hill and then I would have to stop and flip my board over and scrape slugs off the wheels. For
So
the
what's
sink.
the tally? I think I'm Tiny Dicks. Tiny Dicks. Shit myself. What was the other one?
Smell a mile or
Oh yeah.
taste with your hands.
And the glove.
I'm
We
definitely
defeated the hands with the glove.
I
yeah.
would go with tiny dicks that I could maneuver into whatever I pleased.
customizable.
Customizable
Like a
tiny
mohawk.
dicks. Yeah. Whatever I was feeling that weekend, I could fashion my tiny penises into.
You can't move them around.
I thought that was the deal.
You're just gonna take them off and pluck them in a new spot.
One more curveball though, in favor of tiny dicks. You can have the comically large penis, but the tiny dicks there's no testicles involved.
Sweet.
So that's a plus.
Well, yeah, no, I didn't imagine I had 20 extra tiny ball sacks hanging around.
I'm just saying, with the comically large dick, you do have very large testicles too.
Oh, that's a
Hard
downside.
selling point to tiny dicks all the way.
You know
Yeah.
how itchy ball sacks are?
Right?
You guys
Oh.
do.
Yeah, I do on occasion.
Stacy's looking at me like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, like, you don't complain about it all day.
Oh yeah, that's part
There's
of
no
becoming
way
a
to
man.
scratch it. You gotta like
Going,
stretch
my
with
balls
one
are
hand.
so itchy.
Like, cry about it. I always say it's like trying to scratch your balls is like trying to write with a pen on a plastic bag.
I almost spit up beer everywhere. That was amazing.
So you were just silent from here. I was like, wow, David didn't find that funny at all.
I tried very hard not to ruin my booth.
You are over the line, sir.
I would go with tiny dicks, tasting fingers, and poop in my pants.
Two for the trio.
Yeah, I'd probably go with tiny dicks, mile smell, and slime hands.
Mild smell. And
Yeah.
slime hands.
Yeah,
Going
and slime
rogue.
hands. Oh yeah, I'm being a contrarian. Be like, I got to get my own reality show, you guys. Like.
You and David could be the Slime Brothers.
Yeah, now you gotta
Nice.
show slime hand versus slime hand.
Just call it slime time.
Can it be like Property Brothers, where we're like building a house together?
Yeah. We're always having slimy high fives.
Yeah.
This room is way too dry, bro. High five me.
Yeah, you guys just high five each other all the time, and then everyone's around you be like, "Ah, God."
Looks like a fucking.
Why do we do that?
I tell you, I would watch your show if you just go around shaking people's hands that aren't expecting it.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Mr. President, you know.
Yeah. Any CFO, and you're just like, hey, great to meet you. Thank you for showing me around. And then, boom, slime hand. And then, you're like, you just got slime hand.
What's your verdict, Sap?
You already know.
Fuck, we're doing the show. What's your verdict, Sap? I offended him.
Okay, I'm definitely taking slime hand. I'm gonna go with tasty gloves.
I like how we're calling it
Band-Aid.
tasty gloves, even though
Yeah,
that
tasty
was
gloves
our
is the-
solution.
That's the terminology. Man, that's a hell of a loophole.
Yeah, we figured that one out.
They said that like immediately.
No,
I was
Stacey
like,
mentioned
oh, this
we're
is a
like
good one. They're just like
tasty gloves. If it's not about shitting yourself, we don't know what to do with it.
What was the first one again?
Oh, little dicks or big dick?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, little dicks everywhere.
I love the summation of that. Little dick's a big dick.
Yeah, dicks as far as the eye can see. Yeah, I was always, I always assumed that everyone, at the beginning, it seems like, oh yeah, comically large dick. But as soon as more questions got tossed around, it's like, oh yeah, a bunch of little dicks, no problem.
Of course.
I'd rather have 20 comically small dicks than one comically large dick.
Instead, you only have one comically small dick.
I know. I want 20 times.
Yeah, and somehow you also have slime hands.
Well, I don't want to chafe out all 20 of them.
It's like whack-a-mole at that point.
Yeah.
He just spreads his fingers and mashes.
Oh, you're a button masher.
That feels good.
It's like, David, do you have an itch or?
I'm masturbating.
So you're tiny dick, slime hands, and tasty glove. That's what you said?
Yes, sir.
All right. It is decided.
Yeah. That has been decided in the court of which you'd rather.
And that's where we got to put the gong in.
Hey, there we go.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
New topic.
Bye-bye.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on the Jank, Kris.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, what a pleasure! This has been an absolute blast. I've learned a lot of things about myself. A lot of things have been awoken. I'm ready to get out there and find my spirit fetish.
Nice.
I'm so glad you've figured that out here with us.
Oh yeah, this has been a real nice therapy session that I needed. And if you ever need me back again, just let me know, and I'm sure I'll have a bunch of new problems by then.
Sweet.
To solve.
You'll come back for episode 10, which will be the Drunk-Ass podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, count me in.
We got 6 more to record before that. That's when the Drunk-Ass podcast starts.
Okay. Yes, and then, you gotta work through all your detox shakes in preparation for the next one.
Yes.
Well, thank you, patrons, for listening and giving us your money.
We love you.
All right, we're getting out of this thing. Cue the butts.
The butts.
Bye.
Bye.
Butts.
Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts. Butts.